Do you ever feel like there's something missing despite your success? You've hit your goals, you built the life you thought you wanted, you've done all the things, and yet something still feels off. Well, I have got something for you. Welcome to the Full Way to Joy podcast. My name is Tami, and before we get into the episode today, I wanted to share something I've created with you in mind, a free masterclass. This is one of the biggest questions that I get, and I decided why not go all out and share some of my secrets. In this masterclass, you're going to discover why achievement alone is not fulfilling you, and more importantly, what to do about it. You'll learn the hidden patterns in your success that reveal your true purpose and how to finally create the meaningful impact you know you're meant for. So join the free masterclass, Success to Significance, and discover why success feels empty, how to break the glass ceiling, and the secret to finding your true purpose. I can't wait to see you there. The last step is just sign up. It's TamiMarieCoaching.com/masterclass 2025. Can't wait to see you. Now, let's get into the show. When's the last time you fell into bed and you thought, today was a really great day? When's the last time that you look back at your day and you're like, I'm exhausted and exhilarated, or I am so energized and fulfilled? Or it's just you sit back and you look and you're like, today was it was a great day. And you maybe like feel peace. What if that's the normal instead of our normal right now? And at least I know that my normal has been feeling exhausted because I'm constantly going from thing to thing, making sure my kids are taken care of, making sure that everything I volunteered to do, everything I've voluntold to do, everything that I need to do gets done. And then there's times that I have, like more often than not now, I look back at the day and I was like, today I lived my purpose. Today felt significant. It may not have been a huge significance. Significance doesn't mean large. It means impactful. And so I wanted to talk about today, like last week, we talked about this empty feeling of success, and empty being like external validation isn't fulfilling, meaningful impact is missing, purpose feels disconnected, true self is hidden, and then you're yearning for something more. That's what empty success looks like and feels like. And I know that from talking to you and from knowing and getting your emails and your messages, that this more that you have on your heart, this I want to matter, I want to live a significant life. I want to serve. I want to live. I don't want to manage my life. I don't want to just move through an autopilot. I want to have an impactful and peaceful and joyful and fulfilling life. And so I wanted to talk about that today because how your significance can become your success. Your significance when you're doing something. Because again, we talked about last week about how it doesn't mean you need to quit everything and start a nonprofit. That's not what God intended. I love following Jordan Raynor. If you guys don't, he has written a couple of books. I love his Mere Christians podcast. And he just talks about how our work and our mission is our everyday work, where God has us. And that no matter what it is, whether you're a janitor, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a mom, whether you're a dad, whether you are a coach, whether you're, doesn't matter. You're a factory worker. Your work matters and it matters to the kingdom. And so now I want to look and go a little bit deeper with that concept, because your significance, your success matters. And we get to define success for ourselves. And so that last time you did fall into bed and you're like, today was a great day. Why was it a great day? What happened? What did you do? Who did you show up as in order to make it a great day? What were was it an experience you had? Was it something that you did? Is it something that happened? Did you make it happen? Were you a part of something? Did you watch your kids do something that they've been working towards? Did you watch your friends do something they've been working towards? What made it an amazing day? So that gives us insight to what is success for us. I know I've talked about this multiple times, how when I started defining success for myself, all of a sudden I could see how my purpose played into that. And so I want to talk about like there's three pillars of purposeful success. So these three elements need to be present in order to have this purposeful success. And it's simple: internal alignment. We need to know who God called us to be. And there's the external expression. What did God call us to do? What talents, what gifts, what strengths are we to use to serve? And then the internal impact, and realizing that this part is we may not see, but we recognize that everything we do matters. So everything that we do, whether we are, again, a window washer or a creating, AI tools, whatever it may be, there's an internal impact for everything. And not, there's an eternal impact. There's an internal as well, but the internal alignment, we need to know who we are. The external expression, we get to do the thing. It's not just enough to know who we are or to know your purpose. It's to actually take the action and live it, because faith without works is dead. Like, we have to take action. And then in eternal impact. We may never know the side of heaven, the depth of the eternal impact, but it's there. And so I just wanted to talk about those. And because as we're looking at what does significance mean to me? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to our kids? Those are three things that we get to look at and be intentional about. And I have a framework I wanted to talk to you again about. I know I've mentioned this multiple times and you're going to probably get tired of hearing this, but it's such a simple way to start working through your your purpose, your calling, the life that you are meant to live. It's such a simple way to work through that. And I call it my shine framework. And so yeah, there's little steps in between each of these, but the idea is like if we go and we intentionally take each of these steps, we become who God called us to be. And so the S is see yourself clearly, not for who we think we are or what we think our values are or what other people expect of us. This is see ourselves how God created us, our strengths, our talents, our core values, our motivations, our fears. Like this is seeing us as we are. The next is hear your calling. We have to get quiet. We have to start aligning things that we're doing, the things that we're listening to, the things that we like are calling with those things that, when we see ourselves, we get to hear like, where are the highlights? What have we been through? And how do those play into some of the gifts that we have? How have those honed or highlighted some of the gifts that we have? And then there's the integrate your whole self, the I. This is not just your strengths, like our weaknesses play a part into this. Our self-care, and our energy. Do we know what brings us energy, what drains our energy, and it's seasonal. And then we get the end, navigate your path, navigate my path. Like we can't walk the path of someone else. Even if they're doing something very similar, the calling God's put on your life, the assignment he has given you is not the same. And so we have these unique nuances. We have this unique path. And which is why a lot of times when you read all the books or you do all the things that other people are doing, it like will work for a while and then stops. Or there's parts of it that don't work for you. And it's because we got to navigate your own path. And so there's ways to do that. There's tools we can use to make that clearer. And then the last one is to embody your purpose. This is where it's not just an idea. It becomes a part of who you are. This becomes your mission, your movement. This becomes the essence of you and everything that you do. This is what you become known for because it is you. This is your authentic self. This is showing up. We talked about the true self is hidden. When you embody your purpose, you embody who God called you to be. And so I like to think of this, like this whole idea of significance as your success is like the factory versus a garden. Both produce things, right? The factory produces, it's the way it used to be. You put in this piece of wood and it pops out a chair leg. and they all look the same, and it's outcome focused, and it's mechanical, and it's draining. It's just the same thing. And Susie next to you, or Lowell next on the other side, that you guys are doing the same thing over and over and day in, day out. This factory, this traditional success is like a factory where you just have to output. You just have to do things to get, you want more success, you do more things. And whereas I like to look at the purposeful success, the significance and impact version of success as a garden where you tend it. Like, it is work. I don't know of anyone who has a beautiful garden who doesn't spend a lot of time cultivating it. So it's not that it's just like set it and forget it, or it's not something that we can just take lightly. But this idea that this you have to tend to it, you curate it, you spend time cultivating, crafting it, and you pull out the weeds and you prune, and it's organic growth. It's slow. There are some things that happen really fast and some that take months before you even see the evidence. I love planting bulbs in the fall and then having tulips and in the spring. Like, I love it. And it's so, because I always go through winter and come January and I'm like, I hope I did it right. I hope I did it deep enough. I hope I did them far enough apart. I hope because I don't see any evidence, but it's happening. It's growing. And so this is where we're tending to a garden, and there's natural seasons. There's seasons of rest. There's seasons of winter where you hibernate. There's seasons of growth within spring and you are just, flourishing. There's summer where you're harvesting, and fall, and there's different seasons, but there's a natural flow to it. And so you're never in the same winter season. It's always changing. You're growing. Something is happening, even if you can't see it. And then it's just life giving. If you have a friend, like, you can have two people who have similar seeds in the garden, and it's very different experience. You may both be, growing carrots, and one may be all short and stubby, and someone may be long and thin. And it's all about the environment and the way it's tended to, and what our priorities are, and how much care you've taken for that one thing, because what we focus on grows. When you focus on your purpose and the significance and the impact and the legacy and the fulfillment, and using your gifts and using who God created you to be, it's a different output. It's a different focus, and it's focused on the journey of it versus just the output. Just in order to feel more or have more, I have to do more. And with gardening, it's not always like that. Like, pruning actually makes the the fruit or the harvest stronger. And so there's times that we do have to cut things off. It's really hard. We have a little orchard. We have some fruit trees, and I feel every time we prune the fruit trees that we are cutting so much off. And then I know that the next year is like, I see the growth and see how it's come back stronger, and the fruit is bigger and juicier. And it's just, you remind yourself that we do have to go through a pruning process, and our significance and our impact is the same. We can't just do the same thing all the time and expect a different results. And so I really wanted to talk to you about these three pillars: the internal alignment. So we have to see ourselves clearly, and we have to learn what we're good at and what matters to us. What do we value? We can have the same values even as our friends, but they look a little different. And our top five probably are not the same top five as our neighbor, as our friend. They may be similar, but it may be slightly different. And it's important for you, for me, for us to figure out for ourselves what it is. Because if we don't, then we are running the chance that we are actually on the wrong journey, or we're not navigating the right path. We're on the path of someone else, and we're not going to get the output. We're not going to get the life that God has planned for us. And this is why it's important that we take time to hear our calling, that we take time to cultivate and see, what are we supposed to be growing? What is important to us? What part of our strengths does this organization need? Are we living our true self? Are we authentically us and showing up in the best way possible? And so there's signs that you're living that you're heading towards the right path. And one is energy increases. I know because I could be exhausted. Like I could be working hard and sweating and, like putting a lot of effort in, but the energy still is there because I know it aligns with who God's created me to be. There's the opportunities align naturally. You know how when things just like start like happening without you forcing it, when you're on the right path, that's kind of what goes. Like God will put the right people in your path. God will have you listen to the right podcasts like this one. God will have you like he puts opportunities and in your path that you could not have forced otherwise. That the only explanation is but God, right? So when you start seeing those and then naturally align with, oh no, this is who I'm called to be. I can do this. You'll see that you're on the right path. You are working towards a more purposeful success. And then also your impact deepens. Again, we may never know the true depth of our impact, but we can see ripple effects. We can see how things start to shift around us, or people have different attitudes around us, or people start asking us questions, or we start to see changes. And so our impact deepens. And then finally, our joy returns. There's so much joy when you're living your purpose. It could be tiring. It could be hard. You could be building wells. You can be teaching underprivileged kids. You can be building skyscrapers. You can be, building bridges, or like I said, window washing, or, whatever it may be. It doesn't mean it's not hard work, but there's a joy that comes through it because you know it matters. And it may not look exactly like you expect it to look. It may be, you still are a finance manager and crunching numbers. And yet you realize that one of the reasons why you're there is because your personality is what the others need to hear. Your upbeat and your faith and your stories allow the others to be inspired around you. So there's ways to look at it and see where your significance really is and how that leads to your success. And so I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions here. Like, what would success look like if you knew naturally it was coming from your purpose? That it grew naturally, excuse me, that it grew naturally from your purpose. Like, how would it look? What would success look like? Where do you see hints of your purpose in your current situation, your current successes, your current life? Where are there glimmers or glimpses? What is God highlighting that like what do you do that you're like, no, this is what I'm called to do? What does that look like? And then just what's one way you could align your work more closely with your calling? And again, or our calling, we don't have to change work. We don't have to get a new profession. But what would it look like to align? And if we use that example of the finance manager who's, yes, crunching numbers, not really passionate about it, but really realize that their calling is to, they are inspiring and they see opportunities that others don't. The way they interpret the numbers, they can see possibilities in it or catch habits, or like they can catch things quicker that might cause trouble later. Maybe it is a personality thing where they can explain the numbers to finance managers easier. Like how like where are like what's one way you could align your work more closely with your calling? And so that's just some questions to ask yourself to are you living a significant purpose? Your significance, is it coming from your success? And is your success coming from your significance? When I started shifting my beliefs about this, and when I started looking at my calling and stepping boldly, and I mean, I've been doing this podcast for 4 years. It blows my mind. Here we are at like episode 289. I've been doing this for 4 years. And I look back and I'm like, and more, I see how God's shaped it. The opportunities that have come with it and from it, and the ways that I've been able to impact that I will never know, but God's given me glimmers of it. And I went to a conference in December and I met someone who, well, she wanted to meet me because she loves my podcast. And it was just, I'm like, well, can I get a picture with you? Like, I've never met her before. A friend sent her the podcast and she started listening and she's like, it's what I needed to hear. It's what I need to hear every week. And knowing that it matters helps me understand that even when I'm like, oh, I have nothing to say, or I don't know what I'm going to say, or what story should I tell, or I don't have time to do the podcast, or, all those like stories that come up. And it's like, no, it matters. What you do matters. The strengths you hold matters. Who you are matters. Everyone around you needs you to step into your light. They need you to get clear on who you are and what you bring to the table. We need you to step into your zone of genius and shine. And so, if you're ready to discover your unique purpose, if you want to understand how your successes can be your significance and your significances can be your significance can be your success. If you want to know what your true purpose and calling is and how God wired you, I have a free masterclass that I would love for you to attend. And it's called How to Find Your True Purpose Without Sacrificing Your Success. And you'll learn the framework that I use to help women turn their significance into sustainable success, into impactful success, into a fulfilling life where they understand who God's called them to be. If you want to understand your true identity and calling, this masterclass is for you. It's a great first step to start to see what becomes possible when we do step into our true purpose. And so I'd love to see you there. In the show notes is the link to register. It is free. It'll be an hour of your time. I will leave time for Q&A so bring your questions. And the same as I'll stay a little bit after too if you have any questions. But it's so important to me that I help you see how amazing you are. That I help you see that the success that you've had can lead to your significance and that your impact matters, that who God's called you to be, He has asked a lot from you because you're capable of a lot. And if you have this drawing that you're like, I feel like there's more. I feel like I'm not living up to my potential. I feel like I want to know what brings me energy and what brings me joy. And I want to know what my assignment is. Then join us in this masterclass. I can't wait to see you there. And with that, choose joy until joy chooses you. And I am just so thankful. Like 4 years running, 4 years plus. I recently found out that this podcast, because of you, because like I cherish you guys so much. It is now ranked in the top 1.5% globally. It just warms my heart. Thank you so much for being loyal and sharing the podcasts. And if you have not left me a rate and review, I would really appreciate if you would consider leaving me a 5-star review and just like tell me what value does this bring to you? What do you get out of it? What resonates with you? I want to know how I can serve you better. And so if you'll do that for me, I would really appreciate it. And then share this with someone who needs to hear how amazing they are, who has a calling deep inside of them that they're ready to start taking action towards. And just let them know that they're not alone, because when you shine your light, it gives everyone around you the guts, the ability, the inspiration to try to shine their light as well. All right. With that, I will see you next week. If you've noticed, I have dropped down to only 1 episode a week, and that's for very good reason. I will come back to 2 in a few months, but I am working on some things that are some really cool things, and I needed some extra time. And I also needed to, I needed to be able to spend more time on these episodes to make them really valuable for you. And so every Monday, I don't miss a Monday, but stick with me. But know that they'll be coming. I have some guest podcasts that are coming out soon. I'll probably do those as bonuses on Thursdays. But know that this podcast is not going anywhere, but I did for this season, I'm dropping down to 1 a week. So stick with me, and I can't wait to show you what's coming. All right, bye for now.